What's going on YouTube? Taylor here with another video for you. So here I have what is effectively version 2.0 of a Mewtwo and Mew themed expanded deck. So I do plan to at some point update this so it does work within the standard competitive bracket. But for now, because, you know, being a budget player and all, I only have so much money to spend on cards. Because I do play 3 different card games now, as foolish as I am, this is the best I can muster.
There are rich teams, and there are poor teams. Then there's 50 feet of crap. And then there's us.
Without further ado, let's take a look at my Mewtwo Mew themed expanded deck. So right off the bat, we will take a look at the monsters, or creatures, or Pokemon, whatever you want to call. I play too many card games. Whatever you want to call my main creatures. So first up, we have Kangaskhan, who is a basic Pokemon. Great attack and HP for his normal colorless type. Next up, we have one copy of Oranguru, who his resource management attack is fantastic because you can put 3 cards from your discard pile on the bottom of your deck in any order. That's just great. Along with his profound knowledge attack, he does confuse the opposing Pokemon. Now, first up, we have the first of 4 basic Mewtwo's. We have the, what was this set called? I forget what it's called.
Then what the fuck are you talking about, man?
Either way, XY, not excavations, explorations? I don't know. So this is the updated, at the time it was a modern version of the classic Mewtwo from back in the day. His barrier and psychic attacks are super cheap. He has decent HP, and they're just a lot of fun for locking down the opponent. Next up, I have one copy of the Detective Mewtwo Basic Mewtwo, or Detective Pikachu Basic Mewtwo. Sorry, it's been a long day. So first up, we have 2 energy for Psyjack. Choose one of your opponent's active Pokemon's attacks. That Pokemon can't use that attack during your opponent's next turn. That's great. And then Break Burn does his HP and damage. That's a fantastic move. And then I have 2 copies of the, what was that, Unbroken Bonds Team Up Mewtwo? I'm not entirely sure, but either way, 2 copies of this Mewtwo. His ability is when you play this Pokemon from your hand onto your bench during your turn, you may put a supporter card from your discard pile on top of your deck. Additionally, his attack Psyshock does 70 and is unaffected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So that's a lot of fun. Next, we get into the heavier of the hitters, if you'd be so bold, or if I'd be so bold, I don't know. Here we have 2 copies of Mew EX. Now Mew is great, especially in this deck because of his ability Versatile. This Pokemon can use the attacks of any Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent's, but you still need the necessary energy to use each attack, so that's pretty straightforward. If I'm mirror matching another Psychic deck, this just makes him that much more fun. Plus, of course, I can use any of my Pokemon's active moves. That's great. Plus, he has the Replace attack. Move as many energy attached to your Pokemon to your other Pokemon any way you like, which is great for energy shuffling. Next, I have 1 copy of the Detective Pikachu Mewtwo GX. His first attack, Telekinesis. This attack does 50 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. This damage isn't affected by weakness or resistance. That goes for just 2 energy. And then his Raining Pulse attack does 120 damage, and your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused. Then his GX attack is Psychic Nova GX for a whopping 180 for 4 energy. Prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks during your opponent's next turn. And of course, it is a hard once per battle, as is all GX attacks. Then we have 2 copies of Mewtwo EX, who is an older one, but pretty cool. HP is 170, his Shatter Shot attack does 30 damage times the amount of psychic energy attached to this Pokemon, so really you can add as many as you like. That's all just for 1 energy cost. And Damage Change, switch all damage counters on this Pokemon with those of your opponent's active Pokemon. That's a fantastic attack, I've used that so many times already, and I love it. So now, let's take a look at some of my trainers. First up, we have 2 copies of Nest Ball, which of course lets me search for my deck for a basic Pokemon, put it on my bench. Then I have 4 copies of Ultra Ball, which is fantastic because you can discard 2 cards from your hand. If you can't discard 2 cards, you can't play this card. Search your deck for a Pokemon, reveal it, and put it in your hand. Shuffle your deck afterward. Who doesn't love that? 2 copies of Cynthia. Shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw 6 cards. Fantastic card. I have 3 copies of Pokemon Fan Club. Search your deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon, reveal them, put them into your hand, shuffle your deck afterward. Since this deck mostly revolves 100% around basic Pokemon, these cards are perfect for it. I run 2 copies of Switch. Again, one of those redone old copies and a classic copy of Switch. I do love the whole Torchic for Geodude thing. Great artwork. Following that, I have 2 copies of Energy Retrieval. Put 2 basic energy cards from your discard pile in your hand. That's great support. Now onto my more basic draw support. I have 2 copies of Looker. Draw 3 cards from the bottom of your deck. I have 2 copies of Howl. Draw 3 cards. Pretty simple. And 1 copy of Tierno. Draw 3 cards. Following that, I have 1 copy of Brock's Grit. Nice reverse holo. Shuffle 6 in any combination of Pokemon and basic energy cards from your discard pile into your deck. Along with 1 copy of Revive, put a basic Pokemon from your discard pile into your bench. One copy of Koga's Trap. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now confused and poisoned. That's great for just disrupting the battlefield. 1 Stadium card, Altar of the Moon. The retreat cost of each Pokemon, both yours and your opponent's, that has any psychic or dark energy attached to it is 2 less. I have 1 copy of Lily. Draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. If it's your first turn, draw cards until you have 8 cards in your hand. You know, when I first started playing Pokemon again, I was baffled by how much draw support there is compared to Yu-Gi-Oh! It's just insane. In fact, yeah, it's really cool. 1 copy of Skateboard. The retreat cost this Pokemon this card is attached to is 1 less, and it can retreat even if it's asleep or paralyzed. 1 copy of N. Each player shuffles his or her hand into his or her deck, then each player draws a card for each of his or her remaining prize cards. I run 1 copy of Rescue Stretcher. Put a Pokemon from your discard pile into your hand, or shuffle 3 Pokemon from your discard pile into your deck. You must choose 1. Another choose 1 card. Tate and Liza.
Austin. This is my twin sister. Her name, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck me.
Shuffle your hand into your deck, then draw 5 cards, or switch your active Pokemon with one of your benched Pokemon. 1 copy of Pokemon Reversal. Flip a coin. If heads, choose one of your opponent's benched Pokemon and switch it with your opponent's active Pokemon. 1 Super Potion. Heal 60 damage from one of your Pokemon. If you do, discard an energy attached to that Pokemon. 1 copy of Pokemon Center Lady. Heal 60 damage and remove all special conditions from one of your Pokemon. I do love heal support. Gladeon's a fun one. Look at your face-down prize cards and put one of them into your hand. Then shuffle this Gladeon into your remaining prize cards and put them back face down. If you didn't play this Gladeon from your hand, it does nothing. Big oof. 1 copy of Random Receiver. Reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal a supporter card there. Put it into your hand, shuffle other cards back into your deck. 1 copy of Misty's Determination. Discard a card from your hand. If you do, look at the top 8 cards of your deck and put one of them into your hand. Shuffle the other cards back into your deck. And finally, for my last trainer, this one goes well with Gladeon. Here comes Team Rocket.
Prepare for trouble.
Make it double.
Each player turns all of his or her prize cards face up. Those prize cards remain face up for the rest of the game. So of course, with that in mind, I can just look at my prize cards and just select them and swap with Gladeon as I need, which is just perfect. And finally, to round things off, I run 2 copies of Double Colorless Energy because they are Very, very important. If I had more, trust me, I'd have them in here. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 copies of Psychic Energy. And that is all I have for my main Pokemon deck. So thank you very much for joining me today. I appreciate you watching the video. Leave a like, subscribe if you like the content, and leave me some comments. Let me know what you guys think. Is this deck viable in an expanded format? Am I missing some crucial monsters, or Pokemon as I should say, that I need? Or are there some trainer cards that just definitely could help balance out things? Or, you know, if you really happen to think about it, am I running too many energy? Please let me know what you think, guys. I'll see you next time.